I'm standing in Chapel Street in Hanky Park, which is part of Salford in Lancashire. Now, Hanky Park is an area that was made famous, or perhaps I should say infamous, by Walter Greenwood's book Love on the Dole. Infamous because this has never been a very pleasant area in which to live. It's just a maze of narrow cobbled streets running between small, squalid houses, 2 rooms up, 2 down, with the privy in the backyard and, of course, no bathroom. On some occasions, almost half the population of this area was out of work at one time. And when that happened, then the only people who really prospered were the pawnbrokers or possibly the bookmakers. But even an area as grim as Hanky Park has got certain redeeming features. When times were bad, and they often were, then the families had to rely a great deal upon each other. There was no welfare state. There was a great sense of community and neighbourliness. But now there's not even a community spirit, because there's no community any longer. 4 years ago, they started to pull down Hanky Park, and the families have moved out to the new housing estates on the outskirts of town. All that's left is a wilderness of rubble and weeds, with just 10 buildings left standing. 10 buildings that used to be very important to the 4,000 people who lived here in Hanky Park. The pubs.
Pubs like the Miners' Arms, the Nelson, the British Queen, the Druids' Rest, the Foresters, the Victoria, the Grove House, the King's Arms, the Joiner's Arms, and the Wellington Hotel. 10 oases in a desert of brick dust and cinders. Real oases, because these pubs are not only still standing, but they're still open. For 4 years, somehow, the beer's been kept flowing. But not for much longer, because now, finally, the pubs are coming down.
Nobody's been living around here for 4 years now, Mr. Salt. How have you managed to keep going?
Well, we kept going by all the customers coming back to see us. They just can't settle where they've gone, and they miss the company, regular company that they've always been used to, what they've been brought up with. Because we've known all these people around here when they were going to school.
Does it surprise you that they come right back here to drink?
Well, it does really, because it's a long way to travel for some of them. They come from Little Alton, Kersal, Trinity, all over. But they still come.
How much does it cost them to come back and see you?
It costs £0.50 from Little Alton. £0.50 return. Well, that's another £2, isn't it? You see, here, this is what they call a family house, and you get used to one another's ways. You just make it a family concern. And when you see people grow up, you just know how to treat them.
Well, what's wrong with the pubs on the estates where they're living? Why don't you use them?
Well, it's just that they can't settle. They can't get used to these places because they haven't been brought up there. You see, the main trouble is they're not all together. They've all gone to different districts. And the only means of meeting one another is coming back to the old Foresters.
Not just at the Foresters, but here at the British Queen, it's the same story. The old regulars come sneaking back to drink at their old local, travelling as much as 10 miles from the new estates at Little Hulton, Kersal and Trinity. Here, business is almost as good as it ever has been.
Why do you always come back to this pub?
Well, you know what it is. You get good beer, you got good friends, everything like that. That's the only thing it is. And everybody's happy.
But what do you think about them pulling these pubs down?
Horrible. They should have left us up. What about these men here? What are they going to do? Where are they going to next week? They've got no company.
Well, I like the atmosphere of this place. A good crowd of lads, you know. There's always a good drink, and I think that's about the main thing, really. But generally speaking, the people are marvellous.
It's not much of a pub, is it? I mean, there's nothing very grand about it.
Well, It's not elaborate, but it's satisfying, you know. You're satisfied. You have a good drink, you have good company.
Well, how often do you come into this pub?
Well, I come in as often as I can go in. As long as the money allows me.
Well, why don't you go to a pub up round where you live?
Well, I don't know. I think it's the atmosphere. Myself, I mean, I've never been in one down there, but the atmosphere's not the same. They built these new pubs down where I live, two new pubs. Only a fortnight ago, one was open. Right, you go in, you get 2 men in the vault. You can't get a game of cards, you can't get a game of phones. So what do? You sup up and go out.
Yeah, but surely the reason why there's nobody there is that you all come down here.
No, they've got their own customers down there.
What's the trouble? Is there something wrong with the landlord? Is it wrong with the people up there? Or what's the trouble?
Well, no, it's not the peace. It's just the atmosphere. I mean, if I go in a new pub, I mean, I don't know who I'm mixing with. I mean, I might talk to you. Next thing, you've supped your bean, you've gone. Oh, you go and sit down, so I'm stood there on my own.
Haven't you made any friends where you're living now?
No, I haven't. And I haven't, believe you me. They're a different type of people. These are real Lancashire people. Rough and ready boys, dockers and such forth, they make the company. And that's all. Up there, where I live now, they're insurance collectors and such forth, and they're different people altogether.
Well, now, let's say they put some new pubs up here. Do you think that those pubs would be the same as this?
No, I couldn't be. Couldn't be.
What are you going to do when the pub closes?
I don't know. I don't. Honestly, I don't know. To pass this pub, it'll be a miracle. It's just like something out of your life. Just be gone. I've known it for quite a number of years, and it just won't be there anymore.
And that's a cry that'll never be heard again at the British Queen. Now it really is time, gentlemen, please. And the towel's been hung up for good. Now that those 10 final stubborn obstacles can be cleared, the planners can get to work on the new Hanky Park. And this is their dream. Something altogether more distinguished and elegant.
Well, already the bulldozers are getting to work. And in a couple of days' time, the Nelson, the British Queen, and the Welcome Inn will be no more. And when they've gone, Salford will have lost more than just 10 very undistinguished buildings. Because those pubs are not just physical landmarks, they're social landmarks too. And without them, it'll be just that little bit more difficult for the people who come back to Hanky Park to find their bearings again. Good night.